talk about everybody's favorite part of college basketball.
The portal?
TOs for sure. TOs for sure.
And NIL. This is what it's all about, right? This is where this is how Final Fours are really made.
The transfer portal.
It is. And one of the big winners, we're going to have Pat Kelsey on a little bit later, is Pat Kelsey, TO. They've cleaned up Isaac McNeely, the latest Louisville commitment today, adding to Adrian Woolley, Ryan Conwell. What have you made of the job that Pat Kelsey has done in the portal so far?
I think the big thing is you lose Rain Smith, the guy who hit 10 threes in a game against SMU earlier this season, and then you're able to add a guy with more size who hasn't had the 10 three-point game, obviously, but at the same time it's a guy that can get hot, can play a role, a little bit bigger defensively that's going to be able to do some of those things. Louisville's not slowing down. They also, I want to say in January, got a commitment from a kid from Germany, 6'10", really good athlete. His name escapes me, so I apologize. But this is a Louisville program right now under Pat Kelsey that has the funding, they have the talent, and it's just going to keep going because of the way he pushes the envelope. And keep in mind, too, Ali Khalifa, who sat out last year, back in the mix. Kobe Rogers sat out last year, back in the mix. Kaysen Pryor, from what I've been hearing, will be back in a Louisville jersey tentatively. That's not 100%. Don't get your panties in the water right now, Louisville fans. But it is tentative that he's going to be able to come back to the Louisville Cardinal program. I'm excited about that program. The ACC adding those guys, Will Wade to NC State. There's a lot of positive momentum. Yeah. But that is three really good players. We didn't even talk about Ryan Conwell, who you guys really know.
Do I get to keep this hat, by the way?
No, you have to switch it up.
Do I get
it is Jordan brand. That's a good start.
It is a Jordan brand. That's a good
start.
I think we should change the name, not to Pat Kelsey, but to Portal Kelsey.
Portal Kelsey.
Because, look, you see what he did this year in being able to basically take over a dumpster fire. It was not good when he walked through the door. And he got them back to the NCAA tournament. I think that's a successful season. This is the positive part of the transfer portal, when you're able to flip it. Now, what he did this year, and you guys have heard me say this, and what Dusty May did this year in year one, that's not the norm. Like, that's not the norm in your first year to be able to flip a program completely. Now, it's going to become the expectation because of the transfer portal, but it's not the norm what these coaches are doing. But this is the positive aspect. The transfer portal, everybody wants to talk about in a negative light. This is the positive light of the transfer portal, being able to flip a situation when you walk through the door that was not in a good place. Yeah. And we know Cardinal fans, we know Louisville, the environment in the Yum Center, they care about their basketball. They care at a high level about their basketball. And he's continuing to show and use the transfer portal in a positive light. So it's no longer Pat Kelsey, it's Portal Kelsey.
It is Portal Kelsey.
Yeah.
And the most impressive thing that Pat Kelsey has done and that staff has done, when you look at the additions of Woolley and Conwell and McNeely, oftentimes in the portal, when you see quick additions, it's usually just, hey, get the talent, we'll figure it out later. Yep. Every single time they are able to get guys, it makes sense. And that's what's so impressive. In this time frame, to get the guys that they got, and you can say, okay, Conwell can play on the ball, can play off the ball. McNeely, great spacer. Woolley, on the ball, off the ball. Like, it all makes sense, and that's a great way, I think, for him to start, because, you know, there's still work to be done to finish out that roster, but this is a hell of a start.
Mr. McCall, I want to come back to you for a minute, because, you know, you're my guy. You appreciate, because you've lived the hardships of college coaching. You know how hard it is, right? But with and this doesn't really apply to Pat because he's done a good job already, but when you have the resources and you have the NIL, you talked about being able to flip your roster, it also means you're going to get less time. You're going to get less patience.
100%.
And I'm just wondering how you feel about that, because your heart bleeds for the college coach.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to get less time and less patience, especially if you do have all the resources, if you do have the NIL rev sharing. We'll see what happens, coming down the pipe here. But, yeah, you're not going to get the time.
You're getting like 2 years. Like,
max.
We'll increase your budget, and then if you do it again,
which is unfortunate, but that's the reality of where we are right now in college athletics. I mean, coaches are getting bought out. Basically, it doesn't even matter, right? Like, it's like if it's going a certain way and it's not going in a positive direction, man, they're going to get the next guy to come in there. It's a challenge, and it's difficult. But I look at the 4 teams that are here. And I think they utilize the transfer portal in a lot of different ways, maybe than how Pat Kelsey's doing it. But all 4 of these teams also had another thing: retention.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it.
Retention.
Multi-year
in
guys.
today's game.
Retention.
Multi-year guys.
Retention. So as important as the portal is, and as everyone is consumed with it, and it's the reason that you guys have heard me say this too. Like Jay Lucas doesn't get an opportunity to be a part of this magical run that Duke's going on because of what? The transfer portal. Because everyone's paranoid that they're going to be behind the 8 ball.
I'm not crying for him, man. My man's living down in South Beach.
It's a nice place.
He's got a lot of if you need a house down there,
call this guy. But being a part of a national championship, being part of a national championship, like money can't buy that. Money can't buy those memories. You know, it can't buy those memories. So
it can buy me a boat.
It can buy you a boat, yes, but
I can make memories on a boat for sure.
I do think this has becoming more of the norm because if you look up and down, especially, I pay most attention to the ACC just because where I live, but like Clemson's recycling everybody. Even Dale Jones, a guy they thought, the only guy they have coming back, Dylan Hunter. You look at Florida State, complete reboot. You look at Miami, complete reboot. So you're looking at every team is dealing with kind of the same thing. We got to get to a point to where you can at least sign 2-year deals. And without the employment thing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you have to get to a point where you can at least sign 2-year deals. I think it's doing an injustice to everybody, coaches and players alike, because the players aren't protected and the coaches aren't protected. We got to figure some middle ground out.
Well, I think you fall into